Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how you can use Desmos to create a student lesson. Desmos has a wealth of activities as you've seen, but today I'm going to show you how you can just create a very simple lesson from scratch. So to do this, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to teacher.desmos.com up here, and you're going to go to, I'm already there, but you're going to go to custom for custom activities, because over here on the left you have collections, things that you can add to, history, different activities that you've used, and then that brings us to our custom. So these are some of the custom activities that I have created. Again, very simple. There are more complicated things that you can do, but the tutorial today, we're just going to look at some of those simple lessons that you can create to use with your students. So at custom activities, I'm going to go to new activity, and I'm going to give it a name. And right now we're learning about equations, so I'm going to call this two-step equations, and I'm going to start building it. And then that'll bring you to this screen. I know you've seen these screens when you've been working with ready-made Desmos activities, but I'm going to show you how to just quickly create a lesson. So over here you have your screens, and it starts out with the first screen, and over here we have add a title. So I'm going to go ahead and get kids started. Whenever I'm do a Desmos activity, I start out with some sort of prompt. So the question might be, what is an equation? And to get them to answer the question, you would put some sort of input. I'm going to do text. And this way, when they're talking about what equations are, they can show students their classmates' responses. And another thing you can do here, instead of just giving a question, you can add a picture to help prompt kids to respond. And if you want to do that, you just click on the media, and it'll give you now two screens. And over here, I can put an image. So I'm going to show you how I can just grab an image, either from a smart notebook or a website, pretty much anything at all, using the snipping tool. So I'm going to go to, I've been using Math Playground with my kids to model equations. So I just went here, and I'm going to put in a two-step equation. And I have one that pops up. So I'm going to go ahead and model it for them. Okay, so I have the model for them, and so because I want them to know that this is an equation, I'm going to grab my snipping tool, which I'll show you how you could find that. You go to your search. Most computers have snipping tool on it. If you haven't used that before, I'm sure most of you have. So you're going to click on the snipping tool and click on new, and I'm just going to grab the picture of the equation. And I'm going to put File, Save As. It's going to save, I'm just going to save it to my desktop and call it equation. And so now I can go back to my activity builder, and I'm going to choose that file to put into this screen. There it is. So now when they see this question, they can, this is what they'll see. They'll have a picture of the equation on the left, and then on the right they can answer the question. And you might want to be a little more detailed in your question, or not, depending on where you are in your teaching. All right, so that's an example of how you could start a lesson. And another thing that you can put in is a video. So I'm going to show you how you can put in a video, and it's the same thing. You're going to click on Media, and I'm going to put in a file to upload. And for this one, I have my teaching videos here. I'm going to put in equation 1. And while it's loading, I want them to respond to the video, not just watch the video. So for my input, I can ask a question, describe what is happening in the video. And you might even want to prompt them because they may not be able to tell. It looks like an image. Play the video on the left. Describe what is happening in the video. And so you'll see this video is simply me using a model, actually a different model than the one on the screen before. It's good for the kids to see a variety of models to solve an equation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go on while we're waiting for this to load, and we'll come right back to that in a moment. And the other thing I want to show you is how Desmos is a really good tool for error analysis. So I'm going to put in a picture of an equation that was solved incorrectly and prompt students to explain the problem. And again, a lot of what I've been putting in lately is explanations and questions because I want the kids communicating about the math and then they can see what their classmates are saying. So for this one, again, I'm going to put in media and I'm going to choose a file to upload. I'm going to go over here to my home screen where I have some pictures, and I've already used snipping tool to take some pictures here, and I'm going to take a picture of this one, or excuse me, put in this picture. And so now you can see it's a hand-drawn equation, courtesy of Miss Juba at our school. And now they can see the picture that'll be in there, and I will prompt them to describe the error found in the problem below. So they're going to look for that error. You could also make it a sketch tool. You could use the sketch, but for this one we're going to just have them describe and try to find it. So I'm going to put the input, and then now they're going to describe the error found in the problem. And it'll look like this. And then they can, write response here, and it'll share with the class. So what's nice about this is you can go through every slide that you create. You can go back and take a look to see what it will look like for the students. So let's go back to the one with the video. For this one, again, I used a website called Screencast-O-Matic to record my videos, but there's plenty of others that you can use, and including Smart Notebook video recorder. But this is just a video that I took. We've been using algebra tiles in class. So they would play the video. They would see this on their screen. And then over here, as they watch it, they can be describing. And you might even prompt them to give you the equation itself. Like, what is the equation that you see in the picture, and describe what's happening. So again, I'm thinking about that right now. And what I'm doing here is I'm just bringing in my zero pairs, or bringing out my zero pairs that are created by solving the equation. So again, I think what I would do here, what is the equation shown in the model? So I'm going to give them two questions. What is the equation shown in the model, and describe what you see or what is happening. So now they would prompt them. They would see the picture as well as the video, and they could put that in. 2x plus 2 equals 8. And then they could describe what's happening. Zero pairs, ... Okay, and then they would share it with the class. And when they do that, other responses would show up as well. All right, let's get back to the error analysis. There's just one more thing I want to show you today. The error analysis here, they would describe. They could just describe that the error that they see here. And then on the next screen, I'm going to actually have them use the sketching tool to solve the problem. And so for this, I actually have a different equation just to show you how they would actually solve it. So I'm going to put in, and this time instead of using media for my picture, I'm going to use sketch. And I'm going to take my snipping tool, and I've already put an equation in here. Actually, what was that equation? Let's go back to that equation. I'm going to put the same one in, negative 2x minus 5 equals 21. Negative 2x minus 5 equals 21. So I have that in Smart, and the reason why I'm putting it in Smart is because I want space for them to work within Desmos for the sketching tool. So I'm going to grab my snipping tool, and I'm going to grab the equation, and I'm going to give them plenty of room. So I'm going to stretch it all the way down here so that they have room to solve the equation. And I'm going to save it. Equation to solve. And I'm going to go back to my Desmos. And this time I'm going to put in, I'm already in my sketch. And over here it has background and then also custom image. So I do want a custom image because I want the equation to be there for them to solve. So I'm going to grab it right here, equation to solve. And so now they have room to solve it, and we can preview it. I think I grabbed the bottom of my screen in the picture, but I think that's okay. And so what they can do is they can go through using the pencil feature. They can go through and solve the equation, and so on and so forth. Now this will show up on the teacher mode if you have that up on your screen while the kids are working, and you can look at the different screens and share them out to the other students and have them take a look at it as you're going along. But they won't necessarily show up on the student screens. Like, this is not a share response, but you can have it shared if you put it up on the screen. And then this would be a sketch, and you would want to add directions. Solve the problem below correctly. Show each step. And then again, we can preview it. That's how it looks. Okay, the last thing that we're going to look at today is how to create a card sort. So I'm going to go back to my lesson, and over here, I'm going to add my screen on the left, and over here it has, over here on the right, it has more. I'm going to go to the card sort, and for this part of the lesson, I'm just going to put in some matching with equations with their solutions. So for my title, match each equation to its solution. So for this, you're simply going to put in your equations like negative 2x equals 8. And then I'll put my solution here. X equals negative 4. Put another equation, 2x minus 5 equals, let's do 8. And so x equals 6.5 or 6.5. So we're going to get some decimals in there. And you can also put in x divided by, x divided by negative 3 plus 5 equals 7, or let's do 1, so we can keep that number smaller. And then our solution to that, 1 minus 5, negative 4 times negative 3 is 12. So x is equal to 12. Okay, so this is just an example of a few cards that you can put in. And what you're going to do next is you're going to make your answer key, and you're going to match the equation yourself. And you just have to click and drag them there. This one over here, and then this one here. Okay, and again, you can make more than this, but this is just an example. And then you're going to click done. And then this is what the kids will see. They'll see the equations, and it'll prompt them to match the equation to their solutions. You can also put in pictures here. So if you wanted, you didn't want a slash for the division here, you could use the snipping tool in Smart Notebook and just bring it in that way as well. And then what the kids are going to see, again, is this. And then they will not know whether they're correct, even though you've put up an answer key, unless you have the teacher mode. So when you're doing the activity and you have the teacher mode, the cards, and we'll look at this today, the cards will be shown to them on the big screen, and they can watch as they turn green, and they know that they're correct. All right, that's it for a simple tutorial on using Desmos to create activities from scratch. Thanks for watching.